solid plan. Spins a yarn, recants a tale. The esoteric approach won't fail. Tune in, it's time for Common Man. Common Man, Common Man, charms the housewives like no one can. What'd you shoot? Where'd we play? Non-stop nonsense on deck today. Tune in, it's time for Common Man.
Why should anybody aspire to be a common man, an average man? Do you realize what it means to be average? That means you're the best of the lousiest, and the lousiest of the best. Now, if we demand more and more for producing less and less, while the have-not nations encourage and inspire and indeed require hard work and maximum effort, if we deify the common men while they encourage and reward the uncommon ones, well, the end result of such a lopsided race as that is too obvious to require elaboration.
I mean, it's like, hello? You don't know nothing.
Well done, young man. Welcome back to the spotlight, young man.
We'll head to Buffalo, stay on the road. I think the weather, of course, having spent a lot of time in Minnesota, I understand the weather pattern. Pick up the Calcutta Clipper, swings down, swings up, lakefront influence, and out. I think we'll probably have about 45-degree weather, so it will not be a typical October 31st in Buffalo.
Okay.
You're breaking up, Bob.
You're breaking up.
Yeah, I always love that one.
Multi-action offensive sets.
Boy, how disappointing is that? What are you doing? Let's go. And he's loose!
Time for 2 more questions, guys.
I'm going to say something controversial.
That's interesting.
I've seen enough out of Cousins, Paul. Put him on ice.
I'm unlimited, Mr. Unlimited.
I'm a fraud.
Yes.
He's the clown from Brown. He's the 4th in the North. Nope. This is the Common Man, Dan Cole.
Things change, the more they never stay the same. It's an old saying I just made up. Ack, ack, a dack, and dack, dack, act you and yours. I'm Common, Radio Dinosaur, La Brea Tar Pit. Here on day number 3 of spring. I was talking to Justin over at Lano Equipment over the weekend. Lano's got great deals going on right now with Kubota tractor packages. But I texted him to check on a couple of copy points. And he said, yeah, just waiting for spring to really kick in. And I go, well, I think we had our spring on Saturday. It was 75 to 80 degrees, Tenna. But you were still away, or were you back in town?
I was coming back Saturday night, so caught the tail end of it.
70. Good to have you back, by the way.
Thanks. It's great to be back.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking, we were talking about it last week while you were away. You probably needed a break from me. I mean, you're probably at that midlife crisis now. You're what, 44?
46.
Are you 46 now?
Yeah.
And you've been spinning your wheels here for how long now?
Too long.
So it's like you're probably just thinking, why am I here? And you think I spent half my life with this clown from Brown, and it's just, he just does the same thing over and over. And I'm so bored and disinterested in which I could find.
I think you nailed it.
I have nailed it, haven't I?
I think you've got me down.
Yeah, I think I do. That's what I figured. I did feel a sense of sadness for you, and I had some pity for you. And then, of course, Blakemore comes in here. He's all gung ho.
He's got energy.
Yeah, he's got energy.
Yeah.
How long do you think it would take him once let's say you decided to leave the Post? You gave it up.
Yeah.
And he started, let's say, next Monday. How long do you give him before he's in the place you are right now? Week? year, month? How long do you think it would take?
You'd have a couple of years of honeymoon period.
Right, it would be a couple of years, wouldn't it? Because it's still kind of cool. You're full time. You got a full time salary, even though it's not a lot, but full time salary. Got your benefits, got your vacation. You're on a show. You're the producer of a major
Huge pay rate.
You're the interim producer, and he'd be interim, and then that guy's just going to hand him the producer, but. He'd be excited because, hey, I'm actually the producer of a major market radio show.
Oh, boy.
And then all of a sudden he would, it
wears off eventually.
It does wear off eventually. How was the vacation? Somebody texted me because I said, I thought you were in California and LA at
Disneyland.
Disneyland. And they go, boy, you really care about your producer. He's in Orlando. The listeners pay more attention. Because I thought you did say Disneyland, but you were in Disney
It's
World.
hard to know the difference between Disneyland and Disney World half the time.
Yeah, they're
both very similar.
Yeah, very almost carbon copies. But you enjoyed it. The kids loved it. Your wife, everything great.
Yeah, it was an 8-day trip at Disney World because we had all a spring break last week for all the kiddos.
Right.
And I think we got out just in time because apparently we had the great blizzard of Minnesota.
Yeah.
Apparently a bunch of flights got screwed up, and there were other people that were planning on going on spring break vacation that couldn't even go on vacation.
Yeah.
So we left at the right time. And yeah, we basically, the kids are now 11, 9, and almost 6.
Okay.
So like when we've gone to Disneyland before, like Ingrid's been too small to go on half the rides. Now she could go on every ride except for one.
Okay.
So it was fun to, actually go on adult-like type rides.
At 6, she doesn't mind it. She's not afraid.
She's the most courageous of the bunch.
Serious.
Oh, she's so brave. Yeah, she'll go on anything.
Because the only thing at 6, 7, I can only go on Tilt-A-Whirl. Anything worse than that, I can't.
I'm with you.
I don't like scary. I don't know why.
I remember being 9 and being afraid to go on Excalibur at Valley Fair.
I don't know. I would never go on Excalibur as an adult. I've never liked the idea of roller coasters. Just look frightening to me. That thrill that apparently you get from death-defying plummeting toward Earth and going back and looping over, and then all of a sudden the blood's rushing to your head. That's never interested me. It's like I've told you before. I'm at the age now where I don't even like violent movies. Depressing. Like we talked about it a little bit last week about. The show Breaking Bad. I tried to watch it as everybody lives a depraved life. I don't find any enjoyment out of that. And certainly I don't.
I feel that way about social media sometimes.
Yes, right. And
what am I doing here?
Yeah. And same thing about about scary. I mean, even I've been on the double Ferris wheel at the state fair with my gal many, many years ago. We weren't even married yet. We were still dating. Went on the double Ferris wheel. Up on top of that double Ferris wheel when they're unloading the bottom wheel.
And it's rocking.
And it's rocking. And I'm thinking to myself, why am I doing this? I mean, because in your mind, at least if you're like, most people just go, well, it's no big deal, it's fine. But if your mind starts to race and you go, it sounds creaky.
Yeah.
I just don't like, I know that it's going to be fine, but it just feels like, why am I even taking this chance? I don't know. Some of the carnival workers who put the thing together, I don't know how trustworthy they are. Did they forget a bolt or a screw somewhere along the way, and the thing is going to snap, and I'm going to plummet to my death?
Wife feels that way about those mom and pa pickup. All of a sudden, there's a county. There's a fair in Woodbury, right? Where all of a sudden they come in just for a weekend,
right?
Those are the ones who are I don't know if I can trust those.
Well,
ones.
that's it.
Disney World, I'm pretty secure.
Yeah, I would think Disney World. They have quite a bit to lose because the lawsuit would be tremendous, but. So you was 8 days as an adult at Disney World a bit much for you? Would you?
I was concerned with 8 days just because the kids, you're staying up later, you're waking up earlier, they're not eating the best food. It's it's just you're expending a lot of energy day to day without a chance to recuperate and rest. So I was concerned. I'm day 4 is going to be meltdown city. We're pretty good until the final day.
All right.
The final day when it was a half day at Epcot, and then we were traveling, and Ingrid was starting to melt down that day. But other than that, the kids held on about as well as we could have asked, and it was a fantastic trip. I enjoyed it.
All right, good. Now, what would you enjoy more? 8 days at Disney World or 8 days in Scotland playing old course, new course, Carnoustie, Gullah number 1, Muirfield and North Berwick. Go ahead, be honest, or if you feel like you have to say, there was nothing better than being with my family in Orlando at Disney World.
Well, I feel like there are moments at Disney World that feel like a double bogey on a golf course.
Right, I get that. Yeah.
But then then you come back and the next hole you birdie it and you have the shot of your life and you feel great again.
Yeah,
so it's very similar. If you would have asked me like 10 days ago, I would have said the golf round.
Yeah,
I not to get like cliche and emotional here, but my heart was like full this week. Like just the kids' happiness.
Yes, I get that. I know.
And all of a sudden it goes, they're super lovey-dovey to mom and dad because, we're taking them to Disney World. Yeah. It's the most magical place on earth. So, it was, my heart was full this week.
Yeah.
It was great.
Well, good. My stomach was full all week. I eat lunch on the air every day, and my tank is empty, though. Anyways, getting back to what we said, 75 degrees on Saturday, 35 degrees on Sunday. A 40-degree difference. So that's why I told Justin, I said, well, we've already had spring. It's over. Now we're headed into winter, but it looks like it's going to get better.
Spring is just sprung for one day.
Spring is sprung for a day, but I think it's better now. So let's do this. Let's there's a lot of things to get to today. So we're going to take a break, peek at the purple on the other side of the break, and again we got the entire waterfront of sports, and a few other items to get to here on the Common Man program with the tanned, rested, and ready Tenna B here on the Common Man program on the Fan.
The tournament is underway. Don't miss a second of the action. Tune in to 96.7 KFAN Plus and on the free iHeartRadio app for hoops coverage driven by Dave Smith Motors.
What's the name of the place again?
That would be KFAN Plus, 96.7 FM.
But what's the name of the...
Dave Smith Motors.
Dave Smith Motors, very good. A couple 13-14 past time now for Peek at the Purple, brought to you by our friends at Affordable Electric. Spring's here, means it's time to start planning those home projects. If you're thinking about adding garage outlets, maybe upgrading your electrical panel. How about installing an EV charger or finishing that basement? Affordable Electric is your trusted local electrician for safe, professional work at honest prices. They were just out at my place and did a great job. The best part was Woodbury inspector guy came in and he said, it's perfect. 612-331-VOLT. Call or text and schedule your project today. 612-331-VOLT. Or go to affordable-electric.com. Affordable-electric.com. Affordable Electric is, oh boy, shockingly affordable is what it is. Common Man page 2 cleanup. We'll never know what I think I know what, we have 2 intermission musics. We have 2 text notifications and we have 2. And I don't know what I've covered up
You've got to be kidding me.
I think where we have the 2 intermissions, it's the original horn blowing. The original one that we used to have.
Okay.
Because we had the original and then we had, piano guy come in and do one, and then we had Herb Alpert do one. So I have the Piano Man's and Herb Alpert's. I don't have the original. If you can ever
should have the original now.
Yeah, let's see.
That was just a listener on the phone, wasn't it?
It may have been.
I thought it was. Yeah.
I think it is, and what I do think is you haven't lost it. I thought maybe 8 days away, 8 days a week. By the way, while you were gone, we did a Dylan duet.
Really?
And we also did...
Was it Thunder Island?
We did 2 Dylan duets. We did the first one to Operator, and then we did it to Tangled Up in Blue, and we did a Amana Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Forecast, Thunder Island. Blake Moore was up
nice
for
having
it.
that new producer.
Well, that was it. He was helpful. And it's like I explained it on the air. I said, well, I suppose I could just tell Tenna B that's what we're going to do for them. That's just, I don't want to make your job any tougher than it is because it's such arduous work.
It is.
There. It's just so hard and time consuming. Why would I want you to do that? And you know what, Tenna B, we've had the wine, the women, and the song. We've, and plus I don't like repeating bits anyways. We keep doing it. We do it. You know how we are. We never repeat stuff. We're always looking for. We're going to have to repeat on the Peek at the Purple because there's really nothing going on. How about this, Tenna B? we might repeat a few things. This is what I had for Peek at the Purple last week. I think on Friday. I think it was Thursday. It was Wednesday or Thursday. The Vikings had a little get-together, not for the general public, but just for the Mark Rosens of the world, right? And people within the organization. They had a bon voyage, kind of a going-away party for Adam Thielen and, I can't remember fullback's name.
C.J. Ham.
C.J. Ham, right? And so they did a Q&A, and C.J. Ham talked about how much it meant to him. And conspicuously absent was Harrison Smith. He wasn't a part of it. Now, wouldn't he have been a part of that if he's going to retire? All three of them there, the Three Musketeers, the Rob, Chips, and Ernies. He wasn't there. Now, it could be because, and then we had a little debate about who meant more to the team, Harrison Smith or Adam Thielen. And I made the argument that I think Thielen was just as important for a stretch of time as Harrison Smith was. Now, Harrison Smith is probably a Hall of Famer, right? If not borderline. Thielen probably ain't getting into the Hall of Fame, but they both meant a lot to the organization. But maybe because Harrison is Harrison, he gets his own day by himself. Or is it he's made his decision and he's coming back for 2026? And I said, that's enough of a tell for me that reading between the lines, I think Harrison Smith is coming back. Your thoughts?
Well, we haven't heard that he isn't coming back yet, so he's clearly thinking about it.
Yeah.
There's a decision to be made. Do you think the Thielen CJ Ham thing was we got to keep the Minnesota guys together?
That could be it.
They're both one of us.
That's very good. Well done. Well,
we have our local retirement and then our national retirement.
That could be.
Because really, I like CJ Ham.
Yes.
Good quality player. We had him on the show. Great to talk to.
Yes.
He ain't on the level of Adam Thielen.
No, he's not. He certainly isn't.
But I would also say I don't know if Adam Thielen's on the level of Harry the Hitman.
But I would say Thielen's closer to Hitman than CJ was to Thielen.
I would agree.
And if and I guess, I mean, if you're Harrison, let's say you made it. What I'm thinking is, if he's made a decision, but did the Vikings say we're going to do you solo because you mean that much to us? If I'm Harrison, that's. If you're doing the old 40 for 60 and 70, we're all teammates, you kind of go, that's nice, but I'll go with those two guys. They meant a lot to me as well. Or do you say, you're right? Or if you really want to do it that way. But I don't know. I'm going with my gut is just telling me this could be wet, but I think Harrison's coming. And I don't even think that's like really going out on a limb either. I know they pulled him out of that Detroit game and gave him the old, pulled him out with 5 minutes to go or whatever it was. And they pulled him out of the game and kind of let everybody give him a round of applause. And I think that was done. I don't even think I don't think the organization knew, or he even knew at that time. But it was just like, well, let's do this
just in case. Yeah.
But I think with not being at that little retirement soiree, I'm going, and again, I may be barking up the wrong tree, but I'm saying he's coming back for another season.
Well, and with Harry, clearly there's a decision to be made, because I don't think Harrison's like an Aaron Rodgers type, where he's just holding out for more attention so that people on the fan are talking about him.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't think Harrison cares about any of that at all.
No, I don't think he does.
So when he's delaying his decision, it's because he actually has a decision to make.
Yeah.
It's not one of those, hey, I've made my decision in February, but I'm going to string this thing out for 4 more months so I can get some clicks and some tabloids written about me.
Yeah. You're probably right. Oh, I think you are spot on about that. I think.
I remember the last fall when Harrison came up, that Ben Lieber had made a comment of, because I think the Power Trip had asked him, hey, well, do you think Harrison Smith will be in a Vikings?
Power Trip.
Power Trip. Breasts, yoga pants.
Yeah.
They took a break from talking about breasts and yoga pants, and we're actually talking football.
Okay.
And they asked Lieber, paraphrasing at this point, basically, do you think Harrison Smith will be in a Vikings uniform next year? And he kind of paused and made a comment of, I'm not sure if he'll start the season in a Vikings uniform, but I could see a scenario where, the Vikes are in the mix 10 weeks into the season. If they're 7-3 and Harrison can come along for a big game type ride, that he would jump along, as opposed to, I think what Harrison doesn't want to do is go through another, you're battling all season long and you're not even making the playoffs and you've just kind of wasted another year, right?
Right.
He doesn't need to be, he's got nothing to play for at this point except for winning a ship.
Right.
So I always put that one in the back of my mind, like, well, did Lieber just make that up out of thin air, or does he have some information that Harrison just might be waiting to go, can this team have a chance to win it all?
Sure.
If so, I'll come along. But I need you to need to make some moves first. You might even have to play half the season first before I jump in.
2 Vikings have had that opportunity. If this is in case true, Harrison Smith would be the second. The first would have been Mike Morris. Because Morris was asked, we've talked about it many times. Brian Billick left here, coach in Baltimore. The year they won the big game, he called Mike and said, I want you to be my long snapper. You can fly in Friday night, play the game on Sunday and go back home. And Mike said no.
What a Morris.
Yeah, if you ever want to look at Mike's Super Bowl ring, he'll show it to you. He never did get one. Yeah, and that makes sense. Coming in, it's sort of like what Decker was going to do for Detroit last year. Remember, he said, I'm back. He was coming in for the stretch run the last 4 or 5 games, but then he flunked the physical and couldn't play, and now he wants out. He couldn't agree. He was going to come back. He said, I'm back with One Pride. And then when One Pride said, we'd love to have you, but we'd like to have you at a reduced rate, I think that's when Decker said, I'm out again. So I think Decker's available on the free agent market. Now he's longer in the tooth, but he's still a quality player. He'd be. I think there would be a number of teams, and I suppose you can't completely close the door in Detroit, but I think there's a number of teams that would say, hey, especially if you're in a position where you think you're a one good offensive tackle away from making a run, you'd probably want to call the Decker character and see what the deal is. Peek at the Purple, brought to you by our friends at Affordable Electric. Electric.com is the place. To more little distat lat, little get Tennabee's thoughts on Wild. We talk a little Wolves as well, and of course, one shiny moment. I was a Rube. It seems like every year the weather was again nasty yesterday. Saturday I didn't spend much time watching at all until the evening because I was outside. Right, 75 degrees. Yesterday I spent a lot of time inside. Some one shiny moments and some other notes to talk about. So we'll do that after we take a break here on the Common Man program on The Fan.
Want to chime in on what's happening with your favorite KFAN program? Make your voice heard on the Bradshaw and Bryan text line. Let us know what you have to say by texting your message to 64686. That's 64686. Standard message and data rates apply.
Double 13-14 past. I'm Common. He is Tennabee. Legendary one will be with us, Mark Rosen, tomorrow at 2 o'clock. We will start at noon again this week, where we're done with coaches' shows from the University of Minnesota for a while until it gets back to football season. So we'll be here at noon tomorrow as well. Before we talk about results on the court and the ice, Tennessee, the wins and the losses, over the weekend, Minnesota Wild reporter Jessi Pierce and her 3 children were found. They perished in a house fire in White Bear Lake in their home over the weekend. I think the husband and the dad was out of town on business, I think is what I read.
Yeah.
I did not know Jessi Pierce, and not really even that familiar with her work and such, because, me, I'm not paying as close attention to the Wild, blah, blah, blah. But forget about the line of work and that she's, obviously a public figure. So it obviously, people, I know that person. It's just tragic when any person passes away tragically at a very young age, and then with children that were, they weren't even in their teens. These were really young kids. Yeah. Really young kids. It's a gut punch for sure. And you knew Jessi professionally, right, from the press box?
Yeah. Yeah. Obviously, I haven't been attending as many Wild games in recent years as I once did, just because of my kids now playing hockey, and that takes away my time of being able to appear as much as I used to. But yeah. She was a fixture in the Wild press box, always sitting relatively close to me. And basically everything, she's kind of received like a lot of odes in the last 24 hours. Yeah. And it's all dead on. No one's faking what they're saying about her.
Right.
She was extremely nice, extremely kind.
Great sense of humor.
Always had a smile on her face.
Yeah.
Like just positive attitude every single time you saw her. I think it was Russo that basically said like she was friends with everybody,
right.
Which, I know you're not in a press box very often, but like the press box can be kind of a weird dynamic,
sure.
right? Where,
I remember from the day when I did.
There's people that are technically your competition that are sitting 2 seats from you watching a game, and we're going to talk about this game after we're going to fight for views or listens or clicks, right? And so there's not everyone's always super friendly with each other, and you can kind of have your own little cliques. And like Jessi was friends with everybody. Yeah. Like she got along with everybody. Everyone said hi to her. I really respected like her grind. I mean, she was every day. Right. I mean, if you follow her on social media, like she is pushing stuff out every single day. And just the work ethic was kind of just and another example you were just talking about in the first segment, right? Like how sometimes these people that are journalists or even on sports talk shows, like after a while, like you can kind of get burnt out a little bit.
Sure. And
the fact that she like kept grinding without necessarily knowing where the finish line was, I just always respected that about her. Just saw her last summer with the Hendrickson Foundation. She would always help out with that. The celebrity hockey game that I would participate in, she was like the coach of our team. So yeah, I can't imagine I can't even fathom what her husband is going through right now to lose your wife, 3 kids, a dog, a house. How you pick up the pieces, that would be extremely challenging. And I hope, I know she's getting a lot of the attention just because of her, if you want to call it fame. But yeah, there's obviously 3 young kids that lost their lives way too quickly, and a father and a husband that's a tough spot. I can't imagine.
Well, when you see it, sometimes it makes you think about yourself. You were in that situation, and it would just be it's unfathomable. It's hard to even let your mind go there.
Well, my wife and I have been talking about it like the last 24 hours, right? Like it's weird because she brought up yesterday morning. Oh, there was a house fire where a woman and 3 kids were killed, and at the time I didn't know it was her.
Right. Same here. I saw the news story.
And at the time, it's just didn't think anything of it because that happens. Not that a fire happens, house fire happens daily, but there's bad things going on in the world every single day, and we become kind of desensitized to it. And it was just kind of like just went through one ear, went out the other.
Yeah. I understand that.
And then when you start to find out it's her, holy cow! It completely changed the trajectory of my day.
She was a correspondent for NHL.com, right? Is that what I saw?
She was basically the Wild's correspondent for so the NHL.com, if they have like wild stories, wild previews, like she represented the league. So she would also, if the Wild played the Stars the other night, if she would have been there, she would sometimes have to go in the Dallas Stars locker room and interview Dallas. So even yesterday she had Andrew Burnett, who now coaches for the Nashville Predators, like just at his post-game presser, bring her up and offers condolences. And the Dallas Stars coach, Dallas has played another game since they played the Wild and brought it up since then of, hey, we've interacted with her and she was great. And so it wasn't even just, we all know her just from covering the Wild, but, the rest of the NHL was tied into her as well.
Did I see, do I have the right player? I saw in another story, I don't know where it was, if it was Athletic, Fish Wrap East or West or Associated, because I caught on with Associated Press. It's a national story. She was Gronlund.
Mikhail Gronlund.
One of her children.
Her oldest child. When he was a baby.
Right,
Hudson.
right. Was really...
he would bring him to work with her.
Right.
And Mikhail...
And he
would want to hold the baby.
Yeah, right. So it's... do you know how she... got that job to begin with? She's 30. She was 37 when she passed away.
Yeah.
Said she'd been there working for I think it said for the past decade.
Yep.
So that's 27. I mean, had she done?
I don't know her story before then. I didn't know her until she started covering the Wild. She went to Matamita High School, so she would always represent every time they're at the state tournament.
Right.
It's.
Yeah, it's
extremely tragic.
yeah.
Right? We always want to make sense of all these things, and you just can't make sense of this one.
No, and it, like I said, when it's someone, I mean, I'd never met her, I did not know her, but I mean, it's hard, especially when it's tragic. I think, look, there have been people that have worked at this radio station that have passed away. Ron Rosenbaum, I knew who he was. Joe Friedberg used to come in and be on with Barrero all the time. Dark Star. I mean, there's people, but in those cases, not that those aren't any, I guess, less tragic, but they were all older, either, kind of died, heart attack, whatever, and this is a tragic life with children. It's just awful. It's just, matter of fact, someone just said, he said, not taking any away from the entire situation, but as a firefighter, this is very hard on them too. I've seen things I can't get rid of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't imagine being
that'd be awful.
Yeah, being a first responder. To think of all the awful things. Well, even Paul Walsh, who writes for the Fish Wrap Factory on the West, he's kind of got that crime beat. And the stories he has to cover of death and mayhem and tragic situations. I even texted, we text and talk more than most people know. And I said, I don't know how you do it. And he said, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but paraphrase, he said, it is difficult. It can be really hard, And I suppose after a while, if that becomes your job, that you cover those things, I don't want to say you become desensitized to it, but you just have to.
Sure.
You have to kind of just bite your lip, right? Keep your chin up and just keep moving on.
Or even just maybe not as gory as that, but I've always thought, how hard would it just be a doctor and have to tell a family, your loved one has died?
Correct.
Just to have to deliver the news.
Yeah, exactly. Here's a text that says she started out as the team manager for the Zephyrs in her senior year of high school.
I heard that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's part of the story as well. So love of hockey and then
she just had her fingerprints all over Minnesota hockey. She not only covered for NHL.com, she had her own podcast, which was with
her friend, right? Her best friend.
Women. It started off with actually Alexis Pearson, who's been on with us before, and then Alexis left and Kristen took over. But it was, a Bar Down Beauty is going to be all women talking about hockey,
right?
Which, frankly, is pretty. I don't know if innovative is the right word, but
it is, and it's rare.
They're first to do it in this town, and to give not only women's hockey, but to give women potentially in media to something to look forward to. She was part of the new. She was on the advisory board for the new Minnesota Hockey Hall of Fame that's about to come out here soon. She was big into the charity Dynamites, which is a local hockey charity, trying to give money to it's an expensive sport and trying to help raise funds for kids that can't afford to play hockey, specifically minorities. She, like I said, helped with the Hendricks Foundation. She was just all over. She would MC certain hockey-related events. So she was all over the place.
It's difficult in May. Her and her children rest in peace, and may her husband and the father of her children hopefully he can stay strong. And I don't even know. It's hard. I don't even know what to say. Seriously, it's one of those situations. You just feel awful. Tough transition from that. Maybe should have saved that till we got to the break. But anyways, tough. Wild. They won their last.
They beat Dallas on Saturday.
That's right. They beat Dallas on Saturday after they had like a three game losing streak, was it, or four? I mean, it was not good. And
they lost 4 in a row at home.
Right.
I think they've won now 2 of their last 6.
And
but they were losing to some non-playoff teams.
Yes. Well, then Hines had like 3 different things he had to say after the wins. It was almost like after the losses, it was almost like he wasn't quite sure what to say. The first one, was he said something, winning isn't inevitable. Almost like sending a message to the team. That's, I think, because when you do play as well as the Wild have, it almost seems like you feel like you're going to win every time you hit the ice. And they had a pretty bad loss. It was 5-0 or something. And he said, winning isn't inevitable. And then he was going to maybe change some of the habits of the teams. He was going to do some things differently. Like maybe we need to, I don't think he was going to do a bagscape, but maybe we need to, I don't know if they've been following a routine of a practice every single day or whatever, but he seemed to suggest there could be some changes like that. And then after the third loss, he said, it's no reason to panic or something of that occasion. So, because I don't know if there really are any answers. It's going to happen to the best teams and the worst teams. And they're locked in. I had many in the basketball community push back at me and go, "Oh, you're not ripping this club now." And I said, "Well, I sort of kind of did when the coach doesn't really seem to have an answer for it, and you're losing. The only reason I gave them a bit more of a pass than I have the Wolves is, they are locked in now. You can say, well, I was giving them a pass because of how well they've played this year, and then the comeback from the basketball community is, but the Wolves have played well they got to Western Conference Finals 2 years in a row. Yes, they did. They also got blown out in the Western Conference Finals 4-1 each year. And this year this was the year they were supposed to take that next step. They said it themselves. And then we know of the litany of excuses that the team makes and not any effort in this or that or the other thing. But without Edwards, they've been playing very well, and they beat Boston, last night. So,
well, I felt like I tried to pre-warn you and everyone else weeks ago.
Yeah.
I kept mentioning it, and I mentioned it for a reason, because it's very rare that this happens in hockey, where with, months to go, a team is locked into a spot and they're locked into who they're going to play. And the reason I kept bringing that up was they're going to play a lot of games down the stretch that don't mean anything.
Right.
And not to excuse their performance, but hockey's a sport that if you want to really, really win games, like you gotta give that extra effort, that extra physicality. And when you don't have games that you're really playing for anything, how do you continue to do that while also making sure you're healthy enough for the playoffs, right? I mean, that's one difference between hockey and basketball is hockey can be a little more physical. Mm-hmm. Not that basketball isn't at times, but I saw this, like they weren't going to play at this elite level all the way throughout because these games don't mean anything at this point. They ain't catching the top spot and they're not getting caught. So really all you're playing for now is who gets home ice for an extra game in a first round series. That's all there is to play for. And so I could see this coming and then they were adding new players and they're trying to figure out kind of what's the best lineup to go with and who we can gel with who. And they're testing new things and let's put this player in this spot. Let's put this player in this spot. And things are just a little combination of disjointed, and these games don't mean a whole lot right now.
And then when they played a game that at least means something maybe for momentum or sending a message.
Well, hey, we're going to play this team in the first round.
Yeah, they won that game. So
without Kaprizov and without Eriksson Ek.
That's correct. And in the Wolves case, you could say the games don't mean so much because it doesn't look like Phoenix.
They're in the playoffs,
right? They are in the playoffs. They're locked in, and you could make the argument. Well, they were the 6th seed last year and got to the Western Conference Finals, and all things being equal, I think you would rather be the 3 seed or the 4 seed or the 5. You'd rather. Every seed has advantages to it the further you go up.
Well, and you want to avoid the 7th seed,
right?
So yeah.
But at the end, but like I say, you would think with Phoenix's now, are they 3.5
4 back?
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. But at the time when the Wolves were losing those games, they did not know because Phoenix was hot on their heels, and maybe it won't matter at the end of the day. Once the playoffs start, the Wolves may be able to replicate what they did last year when they went from a 6th seed all the way to the Western Conference Finals. I did see over the weekend in the loss to I get my games. I get lost in the lost games, but I think it was Krasinski wrote that Finch was publicly critical of Randall, which he really doesn't do. Apparently they have the kind of relationship. I guess they were on the same team together down in New Orleans, I believe, is what I read in the piece. And, they have, no punches pulled conversations during film sessions and such like that. But, generally Finch hasn't been real critical of him publicly. But there was a missed rebound that was critical in the game, a missed rebound or two that Randall didn't get to. And Finch brought it up in the presser. Got to get those rebounds. And then Randall, when asked about it, said, well, he's right. I need to get those. And so, Randall has been a mystery, really. If you remember last year when he came off the injury and the Wolves made that run, now the schedule wasn't as tough last year in that last 30 games, whatever it was, 25, 30 games. And he was brilliant. And now this year, he finally got on track. He was basically a no-show for almost 2 months, where, at least not playing to what his capabilities are, what we've seen before. And then all of a sudden, he came out with 3 or 4 really, really good games. And then there was the rebound game. And so, but anyway, I don't have the schedule in front of me. I wish Rosen was here because he does. But
he'd pull it right out of his pocket.
He would pull it right out of his pocket. But, yeah, it's just a matter now. I kind of, just counting the games.
The Timberwolves have Houston on Wednesday night, and then they're 2 games in a row at home. Then they host the Detroit Pistons.
Okay,
and then they got to head to Dallas, and then Detroit, and then Philly for a little 3-game road trip.
Yeah, and who is Houston and who? Who's
Houston and Detroit.
Houston and Detroit, and the Cade character, he had a collapsed lung, I think is what they said.
Oh.
But he'll be able to come back from it. We talked about it on the air. There was a story. Some doctor said, "Oh, you'll be fine." Doesn't sound like, when you're young like that. I mean, it's not like he's going to come. He's not going to start. He's not going to eat some dirt and rub some Robitussin on it and be ready to go the next night. But this doesn't suggest it to be a season-ending injury. I wouldn't think he'll be back for the Wolves game, but that remains to be seen. But where is Houston now? They are. Well, I know where it is. It's in Texas.
We're virtually tied with them, but based on win percentage, they're ahead of us in the standings because they played 2 less games. They have 1 less win and 1 less loss. And
then how are we on the tiebreaker?
And we're tied with Denver, Denver's in 5th right now.
Because I think all the teams above us, I think we've lost the tiebreakers, it seems like, with almost every team.
Yeah.
I don't think we have the tiebreaker with Denver. I don't think we have the tiebreaker with Houston, I don't think. And the Lakers, we don't have
Lakers
that.
They've won 9 in a row.
Yeah,
so they're 2.5 games ahead of the Wolves.
Yeah, but I think the Lakers also own that tiebreaker, if I'm not mistaken. So if you want to pass any of those teams, you got to do more than just draw even with them. So there you go.
I know I should know this, but I might need a reminder. In the NBA, after the first round is over, do you stay on your side of the bracket, or is it reset?
No,
so you want to get to 3 or 6 because you want to avoid OKC as far as you can.
I don't think they reshuffle the seeds. I don't believe that.
You'd rather play the Spurs, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Not that I'm desiring them, but.
That's I'll use that old cliche, pick your poison. Well, that's even like there's something controversial I want to talk about
that's interesting.
With the NCAA tournament and the seeding there. We'll get to the NCAA. I don't know if you have any of that coming up in 5-3-4.
I can, but I also have other options.
Oh, yeah, other options. Because, the NCAA, I actually took notes just for reminders of which games. Yeah, well, we're not going to do a deep dive. Like, we're not going to break down every bucket and how each game started and finished. But there were 4 or 5 games over the weekend that were high drama and certainly worth talking about, worth watching. There were a lot of blowouts. I mean, matter of fact, that's part of the controversy is that with nil now, the last 2 years, like the seeds 1, 2, and 3 win all their games. There's no upsets anymore. And they're attributing that to nil. But we'll talk about that sometime before the program's over. When we come back, it'll be time for 5-3-4. Tenna, you got a tease, please?
Yeah, 2 local teams yesterday did something for the first time in 21 years.